All right, so we are at, I think, a critical mass right now. We might have a couple more people join, but welcome, happy Wednesday. We are here for an all staff meeting, which is really exciting. We have all team meetings, which include AmeriCorps. We have all staff meetings that are just for staff, and that is you. So thank you for being here. We've got a great agenda today. So just to give a brief overview, we'll talk about 2022 goals, Q1 progress review, strategy update from Liz and Zach, operations highlight, resilient building with Cameron and Dulcie. We'll get a development update from Elizabeth and Rachel, a comms update and highlight from Jen and Doug. I'll do some HR updates, and then we'll do shout outs and wrap up. So with that, let's talk about goals.
All right, how's everybody doing today? It's great to see you all. Maybe we can, I don't know if there's a Star Wars wave or anything. I know the what's that? The Star Trek, this thing. But if we can all give Kyle a Star Wars wave for putting this together, that was awesome. I think every staff meeting should start with that sort of theme music. Thanks everybody for investing so thoroughly into SBP. I hope you're all feeling proud. We have some amazing new team members, and we have a number of team members who have just been investing so long. I hope you're all proud, and I hope you're working the chat. And then after this, to get to know each other better. We're here for a reason. With people at risk of being pushed beyond their breaking point. While SBP does many, many, many things, the one thing that we all do is fortify people against being pushed beyond their breaking point. And if we're looking at our 2022 goals scorecard, we have some aggressive goals that we're really well positioned to achieve this year. That both on a micro level, that means something to very specific families, and at a broader level, that means things to communities, we're really well positioned to achieve. I'm not going to read you the goals before, or the goals again. We've gone through these before a number of times. But what I would like to do is engage you all, either via chat or via reaching out. You're just unmuting yourself. Tell us something you're excited about with one of these goals. Tell us something you have a question about, or talk about what you're doing specifically to help this entity achieve one of these goals. So I'm going to look to the chat. I'm going to hope you start unmuting. If there's questions, Liz, I, or others will start answering. And if there's something you want to share, we'll highlight or amplify. So let there be chat or unmuting. All right, Lizzie, do you want to talk, or Liz or Keith, great question. Elizabeth Egley, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. And thanks, Elizabeth. Good morning, everybody. Good to see you all. Excited for today's meeting and discussion. So the first question is, do we change the home equity preservation number? No, it is 6 million this year, and over the next 5 years, we have a goal to increase or to demonstrate that we are preserving through our owner-occupied rebuilding program 20 million in equity. So thanks for the question, Elizabeth. Who else?
Got three shout outs. Excited for RAF, and thanks for the lunch and learn on that topic. Reese, fantastic job. I apologize, I've been struggling to upload the video to YouTube, but hopefully we'll get that up today. As soon as it's up, I will send out the link. Javier says he's excited at how we exist in the world to help people avoid reaching their breaking point. And Mike says excited about the human resource goal, also really excited about RAF.
And maybe I could just take a moment right here to pause and show some of the interconnected nature of how one department is impacting or groups of people are impacting SBP's pursuit to these larger goals. So maybe a couple months ago, six weeks ago, we had a group of folks from New York come and volunteer in New Orleans, and Lily put together an amazing tour. The site supervisors and construction team had an incredibly ensured that the volunteers had an incredibly meaningful experience. The team just did an incredible job making sure that these folks, this was deeply meaningful, not some lark, but they were here for a mission. They got a lot of building done. They bared witness about all that SBP was doing. Rachel and I just got off the phone with one of the participants who was totally energized about the Recovery Acceleration Fund. And so he's now doing the following things. He gave us a soft commitment for a $50,000 investment of his own into the Recovery Acceleration Fund, but then wants to introduce us to president of a lending entity, to a number of clubs that he think would replicate the $50,000 or $100,000 investment, to introduction to a whole bunch of financial advisors that would get this in front of their people. So by being really good with volunteers, by choosing amazing, compelling clients, by the comms and development team, ensuring that people had an incredible experience, it's driving one of SBP's signature programs, the Recovery Acceleration Fund. So kudos to everybody involved. All right, it seems these things are moving. Excited about the human resources goals. Mike, what about the human resources goals excite you?
Yeah, I'm excited to continue to build a diverse team and really look at ways, not only for the AmeriCorps program, but the work that Courtney and Kyle and the people team are doing to ensure we're continuing to build a diverse team at SBP overall. Awesome, Mike. And there's two comments about Opportunity Housing, one from April and one from Ashley. So April is excited for to see the Opportunity Housing team to grow. We have Phil in the house, I assume. I can't see him, but Phil is the new executive running our Opportunity Housing program. Liz and Keith are blown away by his really thoughtful approach, both towards getting to scale and focusing on the immediate work that we have to do. So Phil, thanks for your leadership. Thrilled you're on board. And Ashley is asking about where we're at with some of the Houston projects. So Ashley, Liz or Phil, take it away.
Okay, I'll jump in on that. Thanks for the question, Ashley. So the Houston projects are moving along well. We have 2 7-unit multifamily, what we call missing middle deals. Actually, both of those projects should close within the next 90 days or so. So that's Tabor and OST on both of those projects. So those are moving along well. So that will deliver 14 affordable units into the market. Also in Houston, we also have some scattered sites, 4 of which are in various stages of construction. And those will be for sale homes. And then we have another 3 that will start construction sometime in the near future, probably within the next, say, 60 days or so. So Houston is going along well. We're trying to expand as well in Houston. So Houston is looking optimistic. Also, we were fortunate in New Orleans to have just received a bond commission approval. Our St. Claude Gardens 2 project, which will produce 39 units. And those will also be targeted towards affordable families as well. And we're actually pursuing other projects as well in Louisiana, outside of Louisiana, in Terrebonne Parish, and also in Lake Charles as well. And then we have various scattered site transactions that are underway and ongoing. So we're excited. We're looking at other markets we can expand into. We're looking to expand our finance base, et cetera. So I think things are looking good for Opportunity Housing going forward.
Awesome, Phil. We're thrilled to have you on board in a leadership role. JR is excited that we're launching in the next 90 days the Recovery Fellowship Program. I saw Michelle Stinnett in the house, who is running that program for us. What a huge hire that is. I wonder if Michelle could take 45 seconds or a minute to share with everybody what that program is.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Michelle Stinnett. It's okay. Everyone mispronounces it the first time. I won't hold it against you.
Thank you.
The Resilience and Recovery Fellows program is kind of a novel idea. It's an exciting opportunity to place additional capacity within disaster impacted communities to help their local governments not only find cool resilience projects, but also figure out a variety of funding sources to be able to actually get those projects off the ground, whether that's a combination of federal sources, state sources, philanthropic dollars. And we're going to launch it in Lake Charles first, and then TBD on the next community.
Awesome. And one thing so people know there's a bunch of money out there for cities and states to focus on resilience. The problem is the money isn't going to the communities at greatest risk and greatest need. The money is going to communities that have the best grant writers, that have the most capacity, those that have the wherewithal and the capability to pursue the money. This program that Michelle is leading, with Michelle's tremendous experience, is going to empower the lower income communities who desperately need this money to pursue and get this prophylactic, this resilience funding that's going to fortify people against their breaking point by making communities more resilient. So kudos, Michelle. Can't wait for you to roll this bad boy out. Let's see. I think we'll take one more. Well, Ian's excited that Laura's excited. Let's let the excitement roll. I think at this point, given we have a packed agenda, we should go to the next slide. And if there are further questions, we'll try and call them out as we can. Thanks, everybody. Lizzie.
Hey, thanks, Zach. Yeah, really appreciate it. So what I wanted to do is run through current status of our goals for this year. And we've broken them out. There's 2 slides here that we're going to run through, broken them out line by line. I want to take a minute to unpack, especially where we are behind or where I feel like there's some really exciting things going on. So the build intervention includes both the owner occupied rebuilding program, or OOR, and our opportunity housing program. I'm really thrilled to say that our operating sites have been working super hard and they are on track. In fact, by the end of April, the owner occupied rebuilding program was ahead by 4 houses, which is just awesome. Really strong start to the year. We're behind in 2 areas on the build goal, and that is in opportunity housing. We're making progress, as Phil indicated. We've got a lot of projects in the queue. We've just faced a number of delays. For example, on the for sale side in Houston, our goal is to build and sell 7 affordable homes in that market. We have 4 homes currently under construction. We're having problems with our contractor. We are in process fixing those problems, and then the program will get going again, but we're behind. In New Orleans, they've completed 2 homes for the Opportunity Housing Program, which is awesome. We have 2 buyers lined up. Those houses are under contract, and they will be sold in the next 30 days or so here. But unfortunately, because we've really struggled to fill our AmeriCorps slots, we haven't been able to start a bunch of other projects that we've had in the queue. Instead, we've had to pivot, identify a local contractor to do the work, and then Katie Malucci has negotiated like heck to get the pricing down so that we're building a product that our intended buyers can actually afford. And so We're behind. However, I'm confident that we're going to get caught up once those projects go under construction. And so in a lot of ways in the build goal, there's lots to be proud of on the OOR side. We're struggling a little bit with OH, but see a pathway forward. And we're just thrilled to have Phil on the team and know that his experience and enthusiasm for this work is going to get us back on track. So hopping down, I'm going to go through some of these kind of quickly, and some I'll take a little bit of a pause on, but if there's anything that anybody has questions on or wants to go deeper, please hop in here. So immediate response activities, our goal is 375. That includes mucking, gutting, debris removal, those sorts of activities. We anticipate seeing this number go up, unfortunately, the second half of the season when there tends to be more disasters and storms. The home owner equity preservation program just launched in April, and just huge thanks to Kristen in accounting and Thomas and Keith for all the work that they've done here to help us figure out a process where we can capture and track how much homeowner equity preservation the owner occupied rebuilding program is offering homeowners. We know, and studies have shown, that in low-income communities and communities of color, disasters can really have a devastating economic and financial impact. And so what we want to show is not only the number of units that we are rebuilding every year, but also how that translates into equity or wealth preservation for the families that we do work with. So more data coming very soon. Really excited about that. On the prepare side, our goal is to reach 5 million people, really focusing on folks in high risk, under-resourced areas. To date, we've been able to get our materials in front of just about 130,000 people. Our goal is 5 million. So you're probably looking at that and saying, wow, that's a pretty significant gap. The good news is that we will be launching a campaign right around the beginning of hurricane season in markets or communities where we are currently working to reinforce the importance of preparing before a disaster with a lot of focus on flood insurance. And then when disasters happen, deploying information so that people can get on the path to a prompt and predictable recovery. So we're going to see those numbers go up here in the next couple of months as that campaign launches. And unfortunately, as we see an uptick in disaster events in the second half of the year. The FEMA appeals team is really doing a fantastic job. Just want to give a shout out to Evan and Shamitra. The number here, this is through the end of March, is just shy of 350,000. By the end of April, that number was just shy of 450,000. They're making tremendous progress. One other update that I want to share is that we are launching the FEMA appeals program in Kentucky, in the western side of the state that was impacted by tornadoes. We just hired an associate who will be working on the ground there, who starts on Monday. So we're really excited to have Kaya join the team. And we're still looking for a FEMA appeals manager for Kentucky who will also be someone on the ground there. So if you know of anyone, please let me know. We are also in the process of hiring a director for that program, kind of doing final round interviews. So lots going on in the FEMA appeals program, a lot of great steady progress there. I just want to give a big shout out to JR and his team of trainers who they're actually already exceeding their goal for the year. We're really excited about all the progress that's happening in the Leader Practitioner course, or the LPC. They have a goal to train 80% of new HUD grantees. I'm sure you all learned a lot about that during the Lunch and Learn that JR hosted last month. This course has become kind of the go-to course for government leaders who are in charge of big federal grant programs or CDBG DR programs. The other thing that's really exciting that's happening is that JR and his team and Reese are converting attendees of the LPC into contracted engagements. So in one region, they were hired to do a needs assessment and an audit of the program to sort of figure out the current condition. So there's an opportunity for our team of of subject matter experts to go into these government agencies and really pull back the curtain and help them understand at a much deeper level how they can serve the folks that the program is intended to serve a lot more efficiently than they have up to this point. So hats off, Reese, JR, and the team involved in LPC. Can we go to the next slide? All right, awesome. So we have two goals on here related to SHARE. The first one is to award $4.6 million to our partner NGOs. We so far have awarded just shy of 700,000 in Q1. In Q2, the awards are going to increase pretty significantly. We released an RFP, or Angela released an RFP recently. She got I think it was about 5 times the amount of requests than we had funding available, so that we know that the SHARE program is meeting the needs of NGOs based on the number and volume of responses that we're getting. So now our challenge is just to go out and continue to raise more money so that we can support our partners. The other great news to highlight and share is that the partners that we have awarded funding to and the partners that we have trained are exceeding their build goal. So you can see we're already at 126 for the year, and that number just continues to go up. Let me pause here for a quick sec. Thanks, Rick, for your comment here. JR, do you want to hop in and respond to Rick's chat comment?
Thank you very much. What happened was we did an assessment for a territory that we're not going to name because we're under a non-disclosure agreement with them. But the leader of the program, the state leader of the program, told us that they had spent $4.5 million in HUD technical assistance. And that the money that they spent on us, candidly, which was about $30,000, was worth more than all the 4.5 million that they had spent on technical assistance, because we went in. She referred to our work in that place as bold and as harsh at times, but certainly needed to know why the program was not working the way it was. So we took that as a tremendous compliment in terms of disrupting current business practices. So thanks, Rick, and thanks, Liz, for letting me talk about it.
Great. Thanks, JR. Appreciate it. Anybody have any other questions or comments for JR? All right, JR, getting a couple more shout outs here. So thanks for hopping in. I'm going to talk briefly about RAF. Reese, if you want to hop in here at some point and clean up what I'm saying, feel free to do that. As many of you know, RAF, or the Recovery Acceleration Fund, is a reimbursement pathway that SBP is developing so that homeowners who don't have money on hand to apply or participate in the reimbursement program that exists through the CDBG-DR program can apply to SBP and use RAF funds to pursue the reimbursement pathway. What this means is they don't have to wait for the CDBG-DR program to launch in their community to get support rebuilding their home. And for those of you who are new or who aren't as familiar with this, oftentimes it takes years for a CDBG-DR program to launch in a community. As JR just mentioned, in the region where they did an audit and needs assessment recently, that community has rebuilt, is it 10 houses, JR?
I'm not certain. I would need to validate that, but I think you're right.
And they were impacted by a disaster in, was it 2017, JR?
Yes, that's correct.
So it's been 5 years in this one community. They have received hundreds of $1 million in DR funding, and yet they've really only spent a tiny fraction of it doing what the funding is intended to do. So RAF will create a new pathway and a new opportunity for homeowners to be able to rebuild and get back in their homes a lot faster. We are very optimistic that the funding for RAF that Reese and Zach and Keith have been pursuing over the last few months is about to take a really good turn. So there's a lot of reason to be optimistic here. Also looking to make some hires for the RAF team, and those should be happening. The first ones should be happening here in the next few weeks. And let me pause there. And Reese, if you want to add anything, feel free to hop in.
Nope. I hope that we were recording that so I can go back and adjust the way I've been explaining it to people. That was really great, Liz. I'm super excited about it. Do hope we'll make critical hires soon, but yeah, I'm thrilled for the impact it's going to cause.
Terrific, thanks. And just one last thing to add about RAF. This is the first program of its type in the US. So what we're really hoping to do is launch it in Louisiana and then encourage other states to replicate it as well. So more to come there as we build on success in Louisiana. So just to, moving on to the next goal, big shout out and thanks to Shelton. He implemented an SSO, which is helping to increase our data security. So I know Okta has been a new addition to our tech repertoire, and just thank you, Shelton, for doing what needs to be done to keep us all safe from the forces that are out there. I wish I had a good Star Wars reference there. Sorry, y'all. The other thing that Shelton, Brittany, and Alicia have been working diligently on is upgrading our Salesforce platform. That will be ready to go live in Q3. They are on target. Just a huge shout out and thanks to everyone who's contributed. There's been a lot of team involvement here, in addition to the work that they're doing day in and day out with the consultants that we've hired to help us with this project. So really excited to have some cleaned up, very reliable data and use that moving forward as we think about where we want to go and where we want to be by 2026. Two last things that I want to highlight. Just first, give a huge shout out to the development team. Elizabeth, Rachel, and everyone on that team has been working hard. We are on track to hit our goal of 24 million this year. You're going to hear a little bit more from them later in the meeting, so I will leave it at that for now. And then the last thing that we're working on this year is making sure everybody understands what success looks like in their role, making sure that everybody has very clear goals and that they are working with their manager or supervisor to understand, are they on track? Are they ahead? Are they behind? And if they're having challenges, what are the things that managers and the organization can do to remove some of those barriers? So far for the performance evaluations that have been done this year, we are on track. We hope to stay on track. So overall, as a group, we're behind on some of our goals, but individually, we are working hard with our team to really achieve a performance culture so that you all at the end of every day understand and can really see the impact that your hard work is making in communities. So with that, let me just pause and see if there are any other questions or comments before we go to the next slide.
Liz, I can chime in real quick and just comment on the last goal that you discussed, and just want everybody to know that how we measure that is annual performance review score of a average of 3, which is meeting goals or higher. So that's why you see 100% there for the year to date. All of our team members who have completed an annual performance review up to today received a 3, which again is meeting needs or higher. So there is certainly opportunity to look at how we measure hitting specific goals throughout the year. And so people know where they stand in relation to success for each and all of their goals. But this metric specifically is measuring annual performance review scores. So I just wanted to clarify that there.
Great, thanks, Kyle. All right. Sounds like we're ready to move to the next slide. Or this should also look really familiar, y'all. This is an overview of our strategy, where we're going over the next 5 years. I wanted to share this again so that we can connect what we're doing in 22 and where it's going to take us by 2026. As you can see, we will be building on the success that we had in Q1, not just in 2022, but for the next 4.5 years as well. And our goal is to really execute well and build on these programs, right? And so some of the numbers that are going to jump out at you on this slide should be like, by 2026, we will have rebuilt 3,600 homes and preserved 20 million in equity. Those are big numbers, but you can see how we're steadily marching toward those goals. Does anybody have questions, concerns, comments on this strategy slide?
Or excitement? Is there one that really grabs you that you want to talk about? I'll connect the dot here. If you look at Advise, assist under-resourced communities to access $100 million in resilience funding mitigation. We've been doing an incredible job, I think, so far with LPC and some of the work that JR and team are doing, but Michelle's Recovery Fellows program is going to drive this. So you guys can see, to get to scale, these are this, remember we talked about 3 levers, big bets, partnerships, and technologies. And you can see the investments that we're making that are going to take SBP from the evolutionary growth that we should all be proud of, to the transformational growth, and getting American communities that otherwise would have been passed by, who deeply need this money, the money that they deserve and that will fortify them for the future, is a big deal. And hopefully you're seeing some of the actions that will drive towards that. So we're a little bit behind schedule, but does anyone want to holler out about, one of these 2026 goals that they're extremely passionate about, or that you're doing something yourself that's taking us there?
Since there's no takers, I'll hop in and just say I am really excited to be working on the human resources goal here of attract, retain, and develop a diverse workforce of professionals and service members, and build SBP every day to be better than the last day. We'll talk a little bit about recruitment in the HR update, but this is a goal that is really exciting for me and my team.
All right, and as we're behind, yeah, take it, Reese.
Sorry, yeah. No, sorry. I just wanted to share excitement about the advocate goal of transforming the recovery system such that CDBG-DR funds reach communities within 12 months. This one is a really big goal, but it's also clear and specific, and it requires, or there are a few different ways to work and make this happen. There's some legislation that SBP is supportive of that would codify the CDBG-DR program and get it statutory funding so that it's easier to move funds to communities more quickly. But then also the Recovery Acceleration Fund is a financial product meant to bridge that gap. And so I'm excited to see both legislative efforts and SBP products that are aimed at bridging the performance and getting these funds to communities more quickly. And that one, to me, that's something that Zach and Liz and I have been talking about for the 10 years that I've been here. I'm sure they've been talking about it even longer. But it does feel that that one is within our grasp now, or our ability to achieve it kind of more broadly as a society. And I think SBP is going to play an important role in that. So I'm pretty excited about that one.
Thanks, Reese. Terrific leadership. Everybody. All right. We have a lot to go through today, and I'm really pumped about what you're going to hear next. So let me pass it back to Kyle, who will introduce our next speakers.
All right, Cameron and Dulcie, you are up.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cameron Quinlan, he, him, and I'm a project manager in the Bahamas. I started with SBP in 2017 at the New Orleans site as a project lead and completed another term as a framer. I returned to SBP as staff in 2019 after Dorian, leading mold remediation services and trainings during the response. That role evolved into project management position that I'm in today, having now overseen, along with Caroline Devlin, around 450 residential rebuilds. A little context for those of you who aren't familiar with Hurricane Dorian. It hit Grand Bahama in 2019, as I said, with storm surges of up to 23 feet and affected communities all throughout the island. As you can see in the bottom left there, you can see Kyle Carson here during his visit. It's hard to see the line there in this picture, but he's showing the sort of grime level that was left after flooding subsided. Just to give you some context, for homes in Freeport, the storm surge lasted around 48 hours, saturating people's interiors with seawater. Buildings here tend to consist of cinder block exterior walls and wooden framed interior walls and drywall. As such, due diligence before rebuilding requires extensive interior demo and the removal of furniture and belongings. These damaged materials also include doors and the sort of wood composite cabinets that either crumple and rot from extended soaking or harbor black mold inside and behind them. As our team shifted focus to the rebuilding phase, our clients were primarily sourced from 2 neighborhoods in Freeport. The homes in this area experienced floodwaters of 6 to 7 feet and broadly shared the same design. As such, all were mucked and gutted, and for many, there was now a need for a safe and sanitary place for them to make food for their family. Even under a limited budget, we wanted to ensure that our scopes of work were able to provide a solution for our homeowners beyond the kitchen sink on 4 legs that we saw other NGOs providing to their respective clients. Next slide, please, Kyle. So challenges became apparent when we realized that we couldn't operate in the manner we were familiar with stateside, where building materials were more readily available. The logistical challenges there would only be exacerbated by COVID. After extended delays, we were able to try a pilot of 10 IKEA cabinets to get us by, along with retrofits of some cabinet frameworks that still exist in people's homes, but we weren't that happy with the results, and the opportunity for growth and improvement was apparent. As an organization, we know PVC can work, with the Puerto Rico operation already utilizing alternative materials in their cabinets. We wanted to build off of the knowledge there. The pros are many, as they're lightweight, easy to cut, glue, nail, or drill. In many ways, they act exactly like wooden panels, being termite and rot proof, and they're also non-toxic and anti-chemical corrosion resistant. For the Bahamas, this example sparked curiosity for our team to find a solution for ourselves, as the viability of recreating the method used in Puerto Rico wasn't necessarily logistically possible for us. Thanks to incredible networking skills of Andy Stoffliff at the local rugby club here, a connection was made with an expat Brit here that had the means to produce a product to our specifications via a producer in China called Reflex Asia, with average home sizes ranging around 1,000 square feet here. The kitchen cabinets tended to consist of a 6-foot linear section with uppers above. With this in mind, we settled on a linear design with Reflex Asia that could fit in a number of kitchens and would include a double basin sink and enough area to prep food. The model we decided on is made with solid PVC boards and PVC edging. This makes all the difference between basic water resistance and coping with a full-blown immersion in water for days that would occur during a hurricane or flooding situation. Following a successful trial of 50 units in 2020 and widespread customer approval, we ordered an additional 50 units for the Bahamas in early 2021. At the same time, we had sustainability and resiliency working groups underway that presented to Thomas and leadership, who gave us the green light following presentations to work on this project to bring it stateside, given the success of the trial in the Bahamas. A 5-foot section, however, or 6-foot section wouldn't be as suitable in the US. So over the last year, we've been working with Reflex Asia on a design that would work stateside. As of today, units, we ordered 100 with Reflex Asia for the stateside operations that have now completed production and are expected to be on a vessel by next week, most likely, and would arrive in mid-June. I'll now hand it off to Dulcie to introduce herself and talk about some of the cost-benefit analysis and other work that went into the PVC cabinet project.
Cool, thanks Cam, and good morning everybody. Glad to get a chance to chat with y'all about this cool project. I'm Dulcie. For those that don't know, I'm the Recovery Programs and Project Manager with SBP. In that role, I oversee our national build grants, specifically grants that we receive from HUD and grants that support our fortified work, as well as just supporting other op needs within the organization. And so Cam just kind of laid out the kind of background and history of how we got to where we are today in regards to this PVC cabinetry project. And I'm going to talk about where we're at now and kind of what we kind of hope for the future. And so as we all might recall, and like Liz and Zach referenced on some of the earlier slides, in our SBP's 5-year strategic plan, there is a mandate for establishing a strategy around resiliency and sustainability for our rebuilding work. And so this is a focus within the organization, but it's also a focus within the home building industry as a whole in regards to addressing the challenge of rebuilding in a way that keeps resiliency and sustainability at the front of folks' minds. And so the investment that we're making in this PVC cabinetry is really just like scratching the surface of what's possible in regards to resiliency and sustainability. But it's something that we have to do because it's in alignment with our the organization's strategic plan over between now and 2026. Kyle, next slide. All right, so now the fun stuff, what we've been talking about has been fun, but now you guys are probably wondering, like, what exactly are we doing? What does it look like? Kind of how does this compare to what we're currently investing in regards to cabinetry? So based on the experience that the Bahamas team had with this specific material from this particular manufacturer, as Cam discussed, we worked with them again to establish a simple but customizable layout to bring stateside. And like Cam said, we've invested in an initial order of 100 cabinet sets, which equals 100 kitchens that we'll use across our operating sites in Louisiana and Texas later this year. And like Cam said, we expect those to arrive stateside later this summer. So in addition to understanding what are the benefits of PVC when making this decision to make this rather large purchase and kind of shift in the type of product that we're using, it was also important that the material is easy to work with and comparable in cost to what we're currently spending on cabinets. And so knowing that the Bahamas team and their subs had success in assembling these cabinets gave us confidence that we would be able to replicate this with ease with our teams in Louisiana and Texas. These cabinets can be assembled by subcontractors, volunteers, AmeriCorps, really any individual. And then when we were considering costs, ultimately realized that the investment was comparable to what we're currently spending on cabinetry. And so ultimately that ended up being like a no-brainer there. So what you're seeing on the slide here in the photos in the top right are what we currently use in the Bahamas. That's the design and material product that kind of real life, what they've installed. And then the diagram you see on the bottom left is the layout that we've ordered for stateside. So like Cam mentioned, a little bit larger because we know traditionally in the States, our kitchens are larger. And so we wanted to make sure we were able to provide a product to clients that was, or a layout that was comparable to what they currently have. But the material that is used in the Bahamas that you see in those photos in the top right are going to be the same material that we're this new kind of layout or design is going to be made from. And then that chart you can see just gives a quick snapshot of the kind of financial analysis of this is what we're currently spending and how it compares to our investment in this PVC material. Next slide. All right, so the kitchens that we're going to install, these 100 kitchen cabinet sets that we're going to install with PVC cabinets later this year and into next, won't necessarily be the end of this investment. I think we're hopeful that we're hopeful to be able to order more and expand to other operating sites. As you saw, we're really focusing on Louisiana and Texas right now, just for ease of being able to kind of move them from New Orleans to those operating site locations. We're hopeful to be able to expand that. And as we learn from this kind of first batch of product and really kind of get that hands-on experience, we're hoping, like I said, again, to expand it and kind of see what we can do from here with this particular product. And so this exercise of understanding PVC cabinetry was a bit of like a fun kind of side project for Cam and I. Like, we both introduced ourselves and have other kind of quote unquote day jobs. But investing in this in the months that we did alongside kind of other folks on the team who helped us learn was an like important, impactful, very cool project for us to take part of. And so wanted to take a moment to kind of point that out, because it should empower all of us on the team to take on ideas and find solutions to challenges that we're experiencing in our own departments or at our own ops site. I think, like I said, this was kind of Cam and I were learning as we were going, but found it to be an important project to be a part of and to kind of continue to encourage SVP to invest in. And so, yeah, challenge us to put on our Creates Connector and Unleash It hats in each of our roles. I think Cam and I are happy to take any questions if there were any, or if there are any that came in the chat, if there's time. That's where we're at today with the cabinetry.
Fantastic, Dulcie, Cameron, thank you so much. Haven't received any questions, but a lot of props, and I think I love Laura's. These cabinets have such a Scandinavian atomic age fusion vibe. 10 out of 10 would put in my home. So I think this is phenomenal. Does anybody have any questions? All right, well, with that, we will move on. Thank you so much, Dulcie and Cameron. All right, we're gonna knock this break down because we are behind. So we're gonna take, instead of 5 minutes, 5 seconds. Oh, we did get a question. Nope, you're not too late, Laura. So have we compared the carbon cost of PVC production against the resiliency benefits? Great question, Laura.
No, we have not, but I think that we're aware of that impact. Cam, or even Andy, I don't know if you, or Thomas, if y'all want to chime in there, but definitely aware. That's something that has come up in discussion, but we haven't done an analysis on it.
Yeah, I can summarize this pretty quick. Can you guys hear me? Thumbs up if you can. Cool. So yeah, PVC is not marketed as a great sustainable production material, but if you look at traditional cabinets like the pressed particle board, they still contain formaldehydes and other chemicals. The challenge is that when that home floods and you have to replace those maybe every 3 to 5 years in a flood prone area, what is the true cost of something that's a permanent solution versus something that's temporary, right? So, their resiliency and sustainability materials, they're not equal. So what is resilient sometimes may have additional cost, but it has longevity, right? Where something that's sustainable may have to be replaced frequently. So as we continue the R&D of what building science and what building materials we can use that are either sustainable or resilient, we'll kind of continue to evaluate some of these things, but ultimately there's not a 100% win on any of these solutions, right? So we kind of have to do a pro and cons.
Makes sense. Thanks, Andy. 2 more questions. Robert asks, are they paintable? Great question.
So Robert, great question. In the current like style that they're in, they have like a sheen finish on them. So it would not be advisable for painting. If we wanted to get something different in the future, I'm sure there's options we could look at, but realistically, they're a white, like more modern looking finish. So that would be something we would want to consider as we're implementing these in certain homes, specifically new builds where we can kind of look at like the layout and the aesthetics.
Awesome, thank you. And then Bruce asked, do the cabinets come pre-assembled? No, they don't. They come in panels, and subcontractors can put them together. Project leads can put them together. Volunteers can put them together.
Yeah, they'll come flat pack. As you can see in the picture, that's one section of the cabinet. So that way we can fit 100 into a container versus not many at all if they were actually assembled.
Yeah, flat pack gets us the cost savings because we can fit more in a container for shipping, and it also reduces the amount of breakage.
And as far as the countertops, for the stateside operations, we decided not to include them because in the Bahamas, it was fairly easy because you would just have a flat slab that would fit for every kitchen. But because you have multiple units for the stateside ones, there's different configurations. So it makes more sense. We decided to allow people to have their own countertops that can fit the different configurations that you're going to see in the kitchens there.
Thanks. I have a question. Looking at these boxes and the incredible branding, resilient kitchen cabinets, have we considered or entertained the idea of selling these to other organizations?
Of operations, Kyle. Let's pilot it stateside. Let's get a few in some homes. Let's troubleshoot some challenges. And then ultimately, I think there is massive potential in that area. Like looking at New Orleans alone, certain homes that are below like the 500-year floodplain require certain resiliency measures to be rebuilt. This is something that we could work on with like the city of New Orleans for adoption. And there could be a model where SBP can work with developers for low to moderate income homes, the city and other like states to market this and get beyond our ability to rebuild homes and create some revenue generation that could fund other activities and impact.
Awesome, great. Thank you, Andy. All right, I think we are ready to move on. So we'll take our break. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I would like to invite the development team to present, please.
Thanks, Kyle. Break time done. Hi, everyone. Elizabeth and I are so excited to talk with y'all today and share great news, which is that you saw in the goals that Liz shared that we have a goal of raising, an aggressive goal of raising $24 million this year, and we're at about $7.5 million at this point in Q2. So, okay, is that good? Yes, the answer is yes. And the reason the answer is yes is not just because it's a good number, but it's also because when we think about this time last year, we had Winter Storm Uri that, had a lot of media attention and a lot of support. So to be here at this revenue point right now, we're really happy to see that. And I know Elizabeth and I both wanted to say thank you to all of you, because the way that we're able to do that is by essentially sharing all of your good work with the many types of funders and volunteers who could be funders who might support that work. So we thought that we'd take this moment to share some highlights that really exemplify that, like how every single person here leads to these great outcomes. So if you want to hop to the next slide, Kyle. As Zach actually touched on this in the beginning, but we wanted to share these 3 examples in particular. The first one is this group of volunteers that came to us from New York with one of our board members, Lisa, and worked on Miss Ophelia's home in Homa. And just this group alone, we did a lot with this group. We had help across every single department at SVP, from folks in the New Orleans office, from volunteers to PLs to Chris, just I think almost everyone, because there were also events welcoming them and really activating our New Orleans community. But out of that has come incredible support, brand new donations from brand new donors who are giving $10,000, who are giving $25,000. But more than that, exactly what Zach touched on earlier, these folks are we're so enamored with meeting all of you and experiencing our work in person that many of them already are saying, okay, I could connect you to a business that might be interested in RAF. Well, I could connect you to a group who might want to volunteer. I'm going to host a volunteer trip. They've really been activated, and none of that, absolutely Elizabeth and I will position ourselves, and our whole team will do that to make it easy to give to SVP, but we wouldn't have this level of enthusiasm and the response that we've had without all of you. So just huge thank you. Then there's this example of activating new partnerships with this group from PIMCO, who came to help with Deborah. Elizabeth, do you want to say anything about the PIMCO group?
Yeah, I mean, same thing. First of all, we have such great folks from all over the country who want to come and serve and have a great experience on site. And this team certainly did. And it has now led to an introduction to their foundation that has led to a potential RAF investor and more volunteer engagement. And so that doesn't happen unless they have a really great time while in town and serving our clients.
Yeah, so thank you for that. And the next one's yours too. Talk about this one. This is so cool. This happened right after their tornadoes, and I love seeing all of those faces on that stage. Tell us about that.
That was so fun. Yeah. So when the Arabi tornado happened, AT&T was at the same time sponsoring an event for the Final Four that was hosted in New Orleans. And they committed a $25,000 donation to support our efforts there. And the band who was headlining that event matched it. And so we had the opportunity to go and meet with some of the Louisiana-based AT&T folks, the parish president in St. Bernard, council members, and this team in yellow shirts, I think had a really great time at that event and representing SVP.
Absolutely. And I know all of those faces from all of those experiences that we just described. So again, we really can't thank all of you enough. I'm really proud to work alongside such talented people. And I know Elizabeth is too. And I'll hand it to you for one more exciting spotlight.
Yeah, sure. And Brittany was supposed to do this today, but she's under the weather. And so you got me. But oh my gosh, I'm so inspired by what we've heard already today on the call. I hear a lot about these programs that we've already talked about, but man, I got some really great nuggets of information from the cabinets to RAF and other things. So thank you all. Brittany wanted to do a couple of things. She wanted to talk about a new foundation that we're working with and explain that to you. And then she also has a resource to share with you. So I'm going to cover those things quickly. First is a foundation spotlight on a newish partner, Center for Disaster Philanthropy. Many of you might know that name, but I really wanted to share kind of like what this partnership looks like now. They advocate for many of the same things SVP advocates for: long-term recovery, racial equity, supporting local organizations, and building back more resiliently. And recently we've had opportunities to engage with them more deeply. And Evan and Liz gave a great presentation about our FEMA appeals program, and they were blown away and asked us to put together a proposal for this program to be expanded to Kentucky. And we've recently received confirmation of that grant, which we're so excited about. This will allow us to do over 360 appeals over the next 6 months across a pretty wide area of that state, and create proof points of and learning moments for our team, and help the clients that we interface with. But what's really exciting about this is that the wake that Evan and team are going to leave behind in this is Yoko 10 at its best. We're introducing the concept of FEMA appeals already. But every organization that we engage with about this sees their own ability to do this for their clients as well, and sees the financial impact that this program is having on the clients. And so it's just really awesome that we have a funder that's allowing us to do this, and no doubt this will lead to more investment in that program. The second thing we wanted to share was that, and I can brag on Brittany a little bit, she's a phenomenal writer and really gets SBP and the various programs that we have. So if any of you ever find yourself putting pen to paper on a blank page, please know that Brittany's language library is now available, thank you, Kyle, on the resource website that is, I think, an awesome tool. And so please go in there. You have limited editing capability, but you can certainly copy paste on any of the programs. It's organized, it's awesome. So please know that's there. And to the extent that anybody needs any help with writing, or even like presenting a concept in email, please check there first. And also know that Brittany's one email away. So please reach out to her. And then I'll take one more minute to share with you what's coming up for Q2. Because while we're super proud of what we've done, we have 3 more quarters to go. And so one big thing is the individual giving team runs a storm preparedness campaign. I like to think of this as like, help us build our capacity, fill our trucks in advance of storm season, so that we're able and equipped to like go. And so that is something that we'll start communicating in the near future. Also, Q2 is bringing us into a lot of conversations about the Recovery Acceleration Fund, getting investors to support that, certainly and here in Louisiana investors, but also nationally. We also want to make sure that all those funders that supported our previous disaster responses understand the impact of their investment now. Because when we call on them again and after the next storm, they'll feel that SBP is a great steward of their funding. And so that's communication that will come by way of an impact report that is going to be hot off the presses this week, and we'll be mailing and emailing out. And then finally, new business. We are targeting new foundations, new companies, and new donors to come along with us and be a part of the tremendous impact that you all are helping to drive. So we're excited about things to come in Q2. And then finally, and I'm sure you'll hear from the comms team about this, but we had the opportunity to sit in on kind of an audit of our comms work. And it is very evident and very clear that there's a direct correlation between our team sharing social posts and our ability to capture things like, stories, new donors, inquiries into what we do, and basically overall awareness of SBP. And so do not doubt your influence on our ability to expand our tribe a little bit by simply sharing social media posts. And so I'll leave it at that. Rachel, if you have anything to add, but thanks for the time, everybody.
Yeah, I have one quick thing to add, and it's another thanks and an exact example, I would say, an example of how sharing matters. Again, thank you to everyone who saw Lily's email and posted in their stories or whatever it is you did on social media about Give NOLA Day, which is a huge thing at the New Orleans office. And I can share, as of this morning, drum roll, that we did have the most successful Give NOLA Day that we have had to date. We had an incredible increase in number of donations and in revenue. So it matters. Like it's just an immediate example. And we're really grateful to everybody who just, sometimes it feels like, is it a really big deal for me to hit share on my LinkedIn? Yeah, it absolutely actually is. So we wanted to give that shout out to all of you, and then in particular to our comms colleagues, Doug and Jennifer, who have just been crushing it since they got here, and we are here to support in any way that we can. So that's all I would add, and we can take it away to the next team. Unless there are questions, we're happy to answer.
Fantastic, Rachel, Elizabeth, and Brittany, thank you so very much. And speaking of the fabulous comms team, they're up next.
Yeah. Look at that photo.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm sorry, I have some background noise. I think Doug is on the call. He was going to try to join. He's in Houston collecting client stories. So I will be brief since there is a little bit of a background noise, but we just wanted to kind of update the team. Doug and I have been here since late February and have implemented a lot of programs that we think are going to lead to success for SVP and the communities that we serve. And the biggest thing that, you know, just to note, our meeting yesterday, and to piggyback on what Elizabeth just said about social sharing and, you know, knowing that, you know, we have a share of voice and every employee that works for this organization does as well. And we want to see you guys amplify the work that you're doing, share that information with us so that we can amplify it on our social channels and really tell our story. So that said, to get into some of the projects we're doing, we've conducted a website audit and have started doing some page updates on our website, particularly pages that are attached to campaigns or initiatives or goals that the organization has. You know, also as part of this audit site is to kind of understand our SEO and our ranking with Google and, you know, our searchability. Our goal, you know, as a resource organization is to really be searchable and to have those free, amazing downloaded, you know, e-learning resources available for, you know, the wider community, especially people who are impacted by disaster. Secondly, we've developed a monthly social content calendar. We realize that relevant, timely, and authentic, and to piggyback, consistent social media posting is really important, again, to tell the story of SVP across our own channels. We've also started doing some quarterly digital reporting, and this was shared with the senior leadership team, but really just an effort to kind of benchmark our progress and to really show where we're succeeding, you know, with our content sharing and with our analytics numbers, and that's social media and web. And then Doug, who is an amazing content creator, one of the most talented I've worked with to date, has really dug his heels in and, you know, sorting through our photography and, you know, taking some of the existing content and, you know, recreating it into amazing, compelling video. I'm very excited to see what else he is able to build after his current trip. And then lastly, I just wanted to highlight some social and digital campaigns that we have going. We've been working on a leader practitioner course, specifically on LinkedIn, to try to amplify the share of voice there and drive users to sign up for the webinars that are available and free. We've been working with April and volunteer teams to kind of amplify the share of voice there and make sure that you know, that website page is up to date and that, you know, we're telling people where opportunities exist. AmeriCorps, we've been working with Mike to really try to push people to the AmeriCorps page, push those applications so that he can, you know, hit his goal of recruitment, which, you know, affects the entire organization and our ability on our operational sites to help more families. And then lastly, an equip and preparedness campaign that's currently running that I'm very excited about. I think it's a great opportunity to reach new communities and impact them with our digital resources. And so with that, I'm going to hand it over to Doug.
Hey everyone, great to see you all today. As you saw in a previous slide, some of our team attended the AT&T March Madness block party, which I believe was end of March. And they were up there accepting a couple extra huge checks from Arcade Fire and AT&T. They each did an individual donation of $25,000 each for a total of $50,000. And right before Arcade Fire came on stage, and our volunteers did as well, Kyle Carson had collected some footage of the Arabi tornado damage, and we were able to compile that into a little AmeriCorps promo video that was reworked for different purposes, but we'd like to show you that here if you have a moment. So again, I want to say thank you, Kyle. That footage was amazing, and look forward to bugging you and having you come out to more shoots. I'm working with you. A couple updates from the comms department. We have a new internal newsletter called What's Up SBP. It's just a really casual newsletter, hoping to send it out at least once a month, hopefully bi-monthly. If you have any ideas of any colleagues you'd like to highlight, maybe a significant achievement of someone, please shoot us over a GChat, an email, or drop in on our new office hours that we will be hosting every other Thursday, and we're happy to work with you. We also have another development. We are working on compiling a shared marketing Google Drive where you are all able to access, if you click that link, you're able to access all the photos that we've collected throughout the years and these finished videos that we'll be putting out, such as Kyle's drone footage. So if you're looking for anything, start there and you should be able to be helped out and serve your needs. Another step here, if you have any specific marketing requests, please use this marketing request form we have. It helps us keep track of our projects, a little bit of a project management tool, just because we have so many projects coming in from all directions, through email, through chat, everything. So that would really be a big help if you could submit projects through there.
Fantastic, Doug, Jen, thank you so much. Really fantastic update. All right, I'm up next. So I wanted to talk to you about 5 things here. First off is just to give forecast a little bit about COVID. So COVID levels, unfortunately, I'm sure everybody has seen, are on the rise again. There's been a 55% increase in cases in the US in the last 14 days, 16% increase in hospitalizations, and actually a decrease in new deaths. So while cases are increasing, the good news is that hospitalizations continue to stay low and deaths even lower. For us, as we're adhering to all aspects of our revised COVID safety policy, even all of our sites are considered to be low community spread as reported by the CDC, with exception to Puerto Rico that's currently in medium. I expect that we will probably see community levels to rise to medium or high. What does that mean for us? Two big things. One is we currently do not have a mask mandate for all of our team members who are vaccinated. And that's because vaccinations, that's also because low community spread or medium community spread. If we get to the high level, which we certainly could, then we are going to implement masks again. But with our relaxation of the mask policy, it is absolutely critical that people are hyper vigilant about not coming to work when they have symptoms, when they have a cough, when they feel like they've got the flu, when they're sick. And that's messaging that I need you as staff members to reinforce with your teams. So please make sure that people are not coming to work when they're sick. We've been fortunate to ease restrictions while COVID levels have remained low, but we have to be mindful of not coming to work when we're sick. So that is number one. 2, storm season prep and evacuation plans. Storm season is going to be here soon. June 15th starts hurricane season. We have about 50% of our team, staff, and AmeriCorps members who have completed that updated contacts and evacuation plan survey. If you have not done so already, please make sure to do it. I followed up with the half of the people that have not done it yet yesterday. We definitely got some more responses, but please reinforce that among your team. And then EDs are delivering, if they have not done so already, we'll be doing so here very shortly. Communication to your operating sites about your local level storm plans. So please make sure to be on the lookout for that. And then we're also going to be circulating a survey to gauge staff and AmeriCorps availability for disaster response that will be circulated out this week. All right, number 3. Elizabeth mentioned it, and huge props to Brittany. I sent this out, the link again. We've updated the staff resource guide to include that grant language library. We didn't mention this on the last all-team meeting, but we also have the Salesforce case support form. So if you ever need help with Salesforce, use that to submit a ticket. All right, and 4 rather, if I can count. Staff recruitment. We're putting a bounty out. We talked a little bit about growing as an organization, and we certainly are growing. A lot of great positions open that need to be filled with fantastic people, and we believe that y'all, our staff, are the best resource to spread the word and promote these roles within your networks. All of our open positions are listed on our website. In fact, they're now kind of categorized differently if you haven't seen it already, to be more catchy, and in that it's remote versus non-remote positions. And so they're not listed out by site anymore. We are, and I apologize, I just lost my place in my notes. We're also going to be sharing content with you through LinkedIn so that you can promote SVP's careers. Considering that today is International Star Wars Day, and a special holiday in my heart, we are giving you the chance to channel your inner Boba Fett and collect a bounty for anybody that you bring in as a staff member to SVP. So referral program for staff members. We'll send out more specific rules, but if we have a candidate who lists your name as a referral and they end up being hired by SVP, you will have the opportunity to get 500 galactic credits or US dollars, whichever you prefer. So please be on the lookout for more information about that. And then last but not least, the winners of the STEP Challenge. So the STEP Challenge was spanned 6 weeks, starting with 5,000 steps a day, and every week increasing by 1,000 steps until the final week, people had to do 10,000 steps a day. Technically, it was three days out of the week. 10,000 steps, at least 3 days out of the week. There were 5 people who completed the program who recorded at least 3 days and hit those 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, up to 10,000 steps. The leader almost got 1 million steps. That is mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. And second place got really close to first place. So without further ado, we can see the 5 people who completed this challenge. We had a lot of participants, but 5 people completed. So Tommy got first place, Lily, second, Cameron, third, Mike, fourth, Megan, fifth. Fantastic work, y'all. However, unfortunately, we have 1 DQ. Tommy was disqualified. I'm so sorry. He was caught using the force. He was midi-chlorian doping. I'm not sure if y'all are familiar with midi-chlorians. That's what gives people the force. So we are actually going to crown Lily the winner. In all actuality, Tommy was really happy to be participating in this, and felt that if anybody could get within 100,000 steps of him, they deserve to win. So we are going to graciously crown Lily the winner. Everybody here but Lily is going to receive a $25 gift card to Whole Foods to buy some healthy food. Lily, you are going to have the chance to get a gift card to get some new running shoes or a massage, and you just let me know what that will be. So really huge shout out to all 5 of you for participating. I did want to also say, oh, I missed my Star Wars joke. These are 5 high stepping pavement pounding winners who can't be stopped except with towing cables. And you can see the at crawlers in the background, or walkers rather. All right, honorable mentions. Edgardo, Chad, Steven, Gustin, and Brianna Redeman also got a ton of steps. Unfortunately, must have missed a week, but thank you so much for participating. You did a phenomenal job. So thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your time. And stay tuned for more on the bounty program. Oops, I think I might have skipped. Oh, we deleted one of the, we were gonna talk a little bit about lunch and learns. I know we have just a little bit of time left. We'll send out the schedule again for the next 3 upcoming lunch and learns. But I wanna open it up to the team because we didn't send out a survey this time because it's a smaller group. It's not our AmeriCorps members included. Wanted to give a small, or a little bit of time to ask questions or give shout out to people. And feel free to either put it in the chat or just go ahead and unmute. All right, thanks, Michelle. No questions? Might have gotten all the questions out for the goals update.
Oh, I have a question.
Please.
So I guess regarding the job postings, I would love to share postings, but I don't feel really comfortable sharing them without knowing a salary range. And that's also considered a best practice for equity, right? So people know that the salary range doesn't change based on race or gender. So I wonder if that's something SVP would consider moving forward to doing.
Yeah, Lily, that's a great question. We do share the salary bands with people in the first round interview, but I also understand that there is certainly advantage to sharing salary bands in the position description. We are looking into it for sure, and more to come on that in the future. All right, well, got a shout out to Anya, great leadership and management, fantastic. Huge thanks to Kristen for her help with the opportunity housing in Houston, amazing. Huge shout out to our new program manager, recruitment team members, Audra, Laura, Leanne, Ian. Y'all are giving our team energy and life. Anya has been invaluable to the comms team.
Hey, this is Mike. Just to double down on Andrea's, I want to shout out the new team members on the AmeriCorps program management team as we are navigating AmeriCorps programs on a whole, navigating unprecedented recruitment challenges. Just really grateful for everyone's energy and buy-in and willingness to steer through turbulence and approach it with curiosity and energy.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Oh, there's so many. Kristen Emmett, providing capacity in many volunteer projects. Also to Viv, Mike, and Megan, what would our team do without y'all's leadership? So grateful to be working with y'all. Shout out Cameron and Dulcie on PVC cabinets as a side hustle. Question about the referral. Does AMC to staff count for the referral? That's a great question. I haven't considered that. Let me get back to you and put that in the specific guidelines that we'll send out.
Yes.
All right, there we go. Yes, it does. Done. Thanks to Rick and the City of Columbia team. Great work. All right, well with that, oh, nope, sorry, premature. Shout out to Grace, our newest staff member who graduated from her AmeriCorps term. Awesome, Grace. Shout out to Elvis for being willing to help me next week with an orientation as we onboard our first AmeriCorps members in Southwest Louisiana, from Ian. Oh, yep, happy to always fill in with Star Wars laughs. Shout out to the finance and accounting team.
I want to double down on that. Big shout out to the finance and accounting team for sure. And very grateful that Nicole and Kristen and Veronica have not like shut me out of their lives completely. Thank you all.
Great shout outs, y'all. Yep. All right, well with that, I want to thank everybody for their time. Happy Wednesday, have a great week ahead, and we will talk soon. Mm-hmm.